let's put the trap zones into practice. Now, guys, like I said, the definition is pretty easy. So, what you could do is right now, just to exercise it, go on your charts and map out every single OB that doesn't work, where it will lead for price to just went through it and to make people believe that price will go down from there. So, for instance, I'm right now here at a lower time frame. I will just show you right now a few very easy examples, and then I'm going to go over examples where you will see it will make a lot of sense how to use them. So for instance, what we have here is basically the first SMT. So here we can see clearly price is moving all the way back to the downside. Okay, so starting to move down, and we do believe price will continue to move down from here. But what price is doing is just going through it. Now, if I start here from the very left, the very first one is in reality a supply zone. That works. If you go down lower, many SMC traders will say, yes, this is my supply zone. Now we know already that's a trap zone, because for us, just by identifying right now anything, well, we would say from the start, yeah, this is a liquidity, right? The liquidity right before price is tapping into it. But in reality, this form of liquidity is a fake supply zone. This is what we can see. But also this one here is a trap zone, okay? This is also a supply trap zone. Okay, everything starting there. Then, what do we have? Well, we have here a form of demand. So people believe that when price will return to it, it will go crazy up. But let's just stay focused right now here on this example. Price is pushing up, right? Creating here demand zone. So we do believe at some point price will return to it and it will go up higher. Well, that's not what it does. And here creating another one. And in fact, the demand here is working out because price is breaking structure after it used it. Okay, so here we can see this is an effective demand zone, one that worked, okay, because it really pushed into it, right? Sorry, that is the BOS, right? This is just structure to illustrate it a little bit better. Right now here, price moving, going down, and it's pushing up from there. But here, for instance, here you can see price wicked below that, and you could consider this as a demand zone, and that will be also an SMT because it doesn't work. It just looks like it worked right now, but if you take it very precisely, you see that price in reality went down below. Okay, so that is the first trap zone. This one worked out because it leaded to make a break of structure and it pushed the price into the right OB. But you can see clearly how price then, did took out this OB, right? Because people believed here it's going down. So that is kind of in conflict, right? So you see a supply area and you see a demand area. So what are you doing right now? If you just need to use OBs without understanding right now where direction is and everything, right? Then you can see clearly, yes, it did took out in this case the trap zone, and then it pushed up into this supply, and this supply is then pushing all the way back down. And then look at the interesting thing. All these previous demand zones are trap zones, right? Even if there is liquidity, right? Because you can see clearly that will be liquidity. So price could use that liquidity. But now it will be considered as a break of structure, right? And price is just going to use this demand zone and will say to you, well, I'm a trap zone. Then the next one, you have here even more liquidity, right? And will also be considered as a break of structure in this case. And it will be a trap zone. But in this case, it is a bit more interesting because price is really pushing up higher. And this is right now, like I said, we have like more types of trap zones. So like a few trap zones do give your interaction, right? So if I'm just going to map out this video one more time. So if this is your trap zone, like we learned it in the different scenarios, you have trap zones where price will push like this through it. That's this type one. Or the one that I like the most is when they give you a hope, right? So they really push up and then it's melting down. And this is, in this case, this one. And this is interesting because it's even giving you right now here a break of structure, which is hyping the people even more because that they think that this is the confirmation, right? But what we see here is actually, well, we have a supply zone. And this supply zone is also a trap zone because it doesn't work. And price within this movement is breaking structure, so it's moving all the way back down. Now, it's hard right now to tell you, to really explain you now, okay, why is this a trap zone and why is this not a trap zone and so on. But basically, price wants to move in a specific direction, okay? It will follow a trend. So it will go to some higher time frame OBs, higher time frame structure points to take them out, to continue with the bearish order flow, with the bullish order flow and so on, right? And I mean, right now you have here like a clean situation that price is moving down, right? So it's breaking structure here, moving down. So it wants to go down, but you don't know that very often, okay? If you're not an experienced trader and so on, I'm just going to just evaluate right now the scenario what we have here. But basically, this is the easiest thing to say is price wants to go to a specific point. If you understand where that specific point is, price will do everything to trap you as much as it can. And with these trap zones, we can really visualize this pretty clean. Now, me personally, I do not map out this on my charts because I see them already. I know already where price needs to go. But for you, as a beginner of this style of trading, I would definitely recommend you to understand these. Because look at this. What we see is a supply zone, right? This is the real supply zone. This would have been the real supply zone. This one here down below is again what? A trap zone. Is one where it wants to make people believe, hey yo, we will drop down from here. So hop on the train, we will go down. But this one say, hey yo bro, I'm also still here. So just let me also join the train. And that's what will happen, you know? And price is dropping all the way back down. So it's pretty cool if you understand right now what I'm saying, you know? And now let's continue. What we have here is, again, the next valid and one and only supply zone, right? Everything in between is again a trap zone, right? So here it moved down early on. It was a valid zone, okay? Because the purpose here was cool. It led to the BOS. So here we got the break of structure, price push down, give you the mitigation, continues to drop down. Then the next one again is a trap zone, pushing up, and the trend is kind of switching. And then you can see this one is also a trap zone again. It seems just like it's working because it's really pushing the price all the way back up. But what we can see is it's not taking out the high. So it means in this case, it's pushing it into the right supply zone. And this is the one supply zone which will work out. And it's the supply zone which in reality is breaking the structure and is the one that you should follow. It's ignoring right now this one, but hey, we still have time, right? So it's moving down, it's moving even more to the downside. So here you can actually see it's really taking step by step every supply zone, even this one, pretty nice. Continue to move down here. So this is, in this case, very nice bearish order flow. But what we do see here is, again, internally, there are traders who believe, hey, yo, this thing will work out, you know, this thing will go all the way back up. And in this case, it's a true demand zone because it really did break some form of structure. But this one is, again, an SMT. Now, it's a little bit hard to see, but this one here, which is pushing price up, yeah, you know, I mean, even this one, you know, it kind of broke this, okay? But technically this whole block will be then again a demand zone, but it's immediately going down. So a little bit hard right now to explain, but yeah, it's not that important. But you can see, you can really relate every single movement here if you really want it. And that's exactly how the market works at the end, because it's super fractal here, true supply zone. And the one before is a trap zone again, okay? Supply trap zone, and it's pushing. Now, this demand is the valid demand and the one that will push price all the way back up and so on. And you can see this is the game what the banks are playing with us the whole time. And this is right now just explained from a trap zone perspective. Okay, so pretty cool. Now, this is right now just something random on the M1, right? So we do not have a story. We do not understand how this really looks like. So what we do is now, we just go and have a look on an example from today. That was a trade that I personally predicted, and I traded one specific movement because I understood that this is an SMT, a smart money trap zone. So the cool thing is right now, what we need to understand right now, I'm just not going to go right now over everything on the higher time frame, but what we see is basically here to the left, okay, we can see price having this demand. Okay, so this is in demand zone. Now, this demand zone is one which will work out at some point, but it's still an SMT. And SMT, you know, like I said, the definition is that one that fails, okay? But you have the chance on some SMTs to take out a trade, a positive trade, and sometimes not. It depends on the overall context. In this case, the context is this one. Price is moving crazy to the downside, right? And you have here like a ton of liquidity. So whenever you do take a lot of liquidity, okay, like here and so on, you can expect, of course, that at some point price will give you some form of pullback, you know? And in this case, the only demand zone which is here, which could lead to that one potential pullback, is an SMT. And these are these SMTs, or these demand zones, which will give you some form of risk reward, which are cool, but are still considered to be SMTs because price will break them at some point. And as you can see, it's really pushing up and it's going all the way back down till it's hitting here this supply zone. So the overall context is still short. And this SMT right now here has just one task, and the task was to bring price to invalid supply zone, and then from that valid supply zone to see price dropping all the way back down. It's that simple. If we try to highlight right now the SMTs with structure, like here, so we got structure, price moving, right? Here in this case, it's liquidity to come for deeper mitigation, because in this case you have here on a lower time frame, you have here some form of supply zone, and this is where price wants to go. And this SMT here was just used, you know, to bring price back to the supply zone, to make a proper mitigation and to hunt, of course, some form of liquidity. And that's the point. This here, that form of liquidity is your SMT, because people believe, hey, yo, this is a supply zone that will work out. But what we do understand is that, hey, this is a big supply zone. This supply zone in this case, yes, it's really mitigated, but it's such a small mitigation at such a big area, which is screaming, hey, yo, we want to see a little bit of a deeper mitigation. And in this case, this one anyway will not work out, the supply zone, because it do not even have here some form of liquidity. Yes, it has here a little bit of liquidity here, or what you can see here, but that's not really relevant. Isn't this a more relevant liquidity, especially if you have here that supply zone, which could be considered as a trap zone? And that's kind of the thinking that you need to develop. And this is something which, yeah, will not come right now into your mind the next day you're watching this video, because you will need a little bit of time to get a feeling for it, to understand, oh yeah, that could be an SMT. And this is why I love this concept so much, because it's just giving you a totally different light to the whole trading, you know. And yeah, that's what it's doing here. So price making that SMT, here's where price needs to go, giving you the mitigation, and then price needs to go all the way back down. And as you can see, it's going down, breaking here some more form of structure and so on, taking some more liquidity and so on. And that's here the next SMT. And here we will come to my trade from today. Well, what we have is here a supply zone, right? Well, is it a supply zone or is it a trap zone? Well, yes, it could work out, right? It could really give you some form of profits, okay? But for me, like I said, it's still trap zone, because what I want to see is that if this is a real supply, I want to see price taking out this, okay? That's what we really want to see. But still internally, it did took some form of structure, which, you know, you could say, yeah, it's an SMT that you could, yeah, trade. I didn't want to do that. So what I did is I considered this as an SMT. And I considered then, yeah, you know what? Here we got still a supply zone, and that's where price wants to go. So by understanding this, I went down to the lower time frame, and that's what you can trade. So basically, I just, in reality, I closed at the SMT, but the same game I've seen on the M1. So on the M1, what I've seen is, hey, I got here my SMT. Why is this an SMT? Well, you can consider this pretty easy as an SMT. First place, we broke structure, right? So we went somewhere down lower, so we are in some form of liquidity. So you can see a very aggressive push down. Now, you can also see, hey, we had here like a lot of highs, okay? Price wicked above these highs, and then here that can be considered as liquidity. So if this right now should be something which will bring price all the way back down, the overall context needs to be a little bit different. Now we identified already on the higher time frame that, hey, this is an SMT. So where we want to see price is in reality to take out this. Now I confirm on the lower time frame the same idea by understanding, hey yo, this is also an SMT, you know? We push down, right? We push massively down, right? We are in some form of a liquidity pool where price could just, you know, just totally take off. And what I did is today, I just entered on this demand area over here, you know? So we go bullish, you know? And then I've seen, hey, very nice. We just go bullish. That was my trade at the end today. I'll close it somewhere here early on, because this could still work out. And as you can see, it still works out because an SMT is not one right now, which, like I said, will always go like through it. So we need to be aware of to not take out my entry. And look at this. That SMT, which is an SMT at the end, would totally take out my entry. Okay? I was a little bit too late with the entry. Okay? Like I said, the best traders do enter here. The next professionals do take the trade somewhere here or here. What I did is I took it here. So I was very late, but still on point, you know. And then of course I need to understand where wants price to go next. And it wanted to come lower to make a lower mitigation somewhere here. Now this is ideally nothing that I would personally like to take, but yeah, that's how price did it at the end. Personally, how I would have been taking the trade would have been something like that, because what do we see here as same is SMT. This is the SMT. So price is taking out a supply zone, you know, taking out here even another one. That is right now for the cheeky one, because then some of traders would say, yeah, but wait, if this is an SMT, maybe the other one will work out. No, it's going down, right? Because we want to go up. That's the point. So you see, the SMTs are very powerful if you know where the overall direction is, right? And there will just be like additional liquidity to the market. So I really love this example today, because this was, like I said, very clean SMT, because we just, you know, it's just in the middle of nowhere, right? Where price dropped down. So that the price needs to go down, it would have been a total different scenarios what you need, okay? Because in this case, like for instance, price moved down, it did took out here major liquidity, right? So if you do take some major liquidity, price will not really just, you know, continue to drop down lower. So these scenarios are very rare where it will occur without pullbacks, right? So you can see this one right now, price is pushing that crazy because people believed that this are supply zones. They believed these are valid supply zones at this point, but no, there is no supply zone at this point. They believed this is a supply zone, but everything was here to the left already mitigated. This whole thing was a trap zone. The whole intention of these supply zones here that you see to the left are just there to make traders believe I will take a short from there, but price would just go and melt through them. Okay, so this is the basic idea of these trap zones, and you need to use these in your favor by understanding, hey yo, I'm looking twice or 3 times on the same OB to really understand, is it right now a trap zone? Will it be used right now for me to get trapped? Or will it be really used to bring the price into the true market direction? So you always need to understand where is the true market direction. If you know that, and you will be able to do that by understanding how to put the whole concepts together, which will be discussed later on in the step-by-step guide on how to put everything together. But of course, guys, if you're right now a little bit confused, because I don't know right now how it is for you to understand this concept, because I know it's kind of tricky probably right now at the beginning to really understand it, because it's a total different perspective. But this is why we have our Zoom calls where we will go over so many examples on how to put everything together. Right now, for this lesson, the only thing that I try to give you is right now not to overcomplicate things by adding all the concepts together. Still, I try to apply a few of them, because only trap zones alone will not really bring you the results that you want to see, right? If you want to really understand what trap zones are about. But you can really describe with every single concept that we have the full market, right? And that's the thing that I want to try to explain you here. So let's just go over a few more examples here, because it's really interesting to just look here on this chart on M15 and to see them. So for instance, you see here M15 supply zone here right below SMT already. So people believe, hey, it's the first one. No, it's not the first one, because price wants to go and to hunt something, right? So obviously the first one is like very rarely the true ID to go. Okay, you need the true context for it. So here again, this is the trap zone. Okay, so personally, I do not even consider these as valid supply zones. I would not even look at them, but I know that the SMC community is doing, so I would only just anyway say this is the only one that I look for. But I know that everybody is looking for everything, right, to say that this is a valid one. Here, yes, it's the only one, because I will not expect right now price to come to here, because here the context is again relevant, right? Because you broke structure that far to the downside. Otherwise, I would never use these kind of OBs. I would say price will come to it, but that's not the case in this scenario. Then what you see here, the true supply zone, and this one is the trap supply zone. Okay. Then same thing here, the trap supply zone, the true supply zone. But then as you can see, we come one more time to it. Okay, why? Because we got a lower time frame mitigation, and because we got a demand zone which is pushing it into it. Okay. What else do we see? So here, this is a classic one. So really, I love when I see these kind of things, because this is where the SMC traders are so confused. And whenever they are confused, that's exactly where you need to learn. Always listen to that. So what you see, supply. Okay, so what you expect is bearish order flow, price to come to it. No, trap zone, trap zone, trap zone, everything, trap zone. Same idea like the earlier one. We went down, right? We are in a very relevant liquidity pool. And if you understand where price needs to go down on the higher time frame, then you know, hey, yo, it would just be used for liquidity. This is why price is moving that much. But SMC traders are always looking, yeah, I got here something, I need to go short. Now look at from that perspective as well. You got a support resistance area here, okay? So viewed with that perspective, it's a support resistance area where you have also supply zone. Never a good idea. Never a good idea, because it's the same point where everybody's looking to take a trade. This is the point where you should not consider your trades. Same here. What you have here is a major key level, right? So if I map this out, even if we look a bit to the left, look at this. This is some form of major key level. And you want to take here a short at this point here? Really? This is why it's spiking, It's spiking because many people are in the market at that point, and they're just liquidating them on both sides, because breakout traders expect price to go up higher. break and retest trader expect price to go down. SMC traders expect price to go down. It's crazy. Everybody gets liquidated here, and you just need to understand. Hey, wait a little bit. Wait up. Where are we right now? Let me just understand everything. I think we need to break structure here. Why? Because we took out a major form of liquidity from here, and we also liquidated something from here, and we got here some form of demand, for instance. Now in this case, I'm honest with you, it's not a cool example. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. I just explained it wrong. We took out the full low, right? So you did took out a full form of liquidity, and that's why price wants to come all the way back up. Okay, that's the reason for it. But people do not view it with that perspective, because people will say, hey, we broke structure here, we need to go down, so this is my next supply zone, it will work out. But hey, the next supply zone to such a liquidity pool where we just tapped into it, never a good idea. Well, that's basically it for this concept. So what I want you to do is right now, like we did it in the beginning, just go to the M1 time frame, because there you can see like thousands of SMT, and just try to learn their behavior. Try to learn really their behavior, because you can see prices always moving into some form of supply zone, and all the other supply zones are just there in order to make that possible. So what the market wants to do, just to explain it to you one more time, is when price was here, right? It dropped from there all the way back down here. The only intention from this full market is to expect price to come here. That's what price wants to do. But it staged here all these supply zones, which are in reality just trapped supply zones, to make you believe that price will go down from there. Or here, you need to take the long from here to come to this level, for instance. In reality, it's not using any kind of demand zone. It's just liquidating everything. And it just wants to come here, okay? That's the whole thing. So SMT, SMT. But of course, you can trade them. You could trade it till this. You could trade it till this, okay? So this is your job right now, guys. See you in the next chapter.